Hi everyone! Today I'll be starting a video series. I will be creating a complete wedding album, and each video will be for one layout in the album. It's going to be 10 pages, so there'll be 2 single 12 by 12 layouts and then 4 double 12 by 12 layouts. And for this album, I'm actually creating it for some friends of ours who recently got married. For this album, I'm using the Die Cuts with a View, the black Currant stack, and this is a really pretty paper stack. To start our layout, I'm going to use a piece of 12 by 12 black cardstock, and then I'm going to use this piece of designer paper. It's one of my favorite patterns in the whole stack. It has that pretty foil accent on it. And I've cut this down by 11.5 by 11.5 inches. So I'm going to adhere that to the black. Next, I have a frame that I've cut from the Elegant Edges cartridge. I've cut both the frame and the shadow, and they were cut at 10.5 inches. So I'm going to adhere them together. I'm going to adhere this to my layout. I'm just going to center it right in the middle. Next I have my photo mat, and I have a piece of 4x6 designer paper. It has again some of that pretty gloss on it, and I'm using some photo corners on my photo mats in this album. These are just some Canson photo corners. But yeah, they have, the pack that I bought has lots of different metallic colors, like gold and bronze and silver, and I'll be using the silver ones throughout. So you just sort of slide them onto the corner of your photo mat. And I like it because it gives it just a little extra accent to it. But I think it'll also be good for someone if you're giving them a pre-made album, because sometimes you don't know how crafty people are, and you don't know if they have adhesive on hand or what have you. And this way also, if they want to just stick the photo in, they can go back later and take photos out and swap them around however they want. You just adhere them, or put them on like that, and then you take your adhesive. Oops. Slide that back on there. onto your photo mat, it'll keep everything in place. So this is just a white photo border or photo mat, and it's cut at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then I have a black one as well that's cut at 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. The paper has more cream in it than white, so if you would prefer to do a cream border or photo mat, that would work really well too. I chose to do white because I'm bringing a lot more white into the rest of the album, and so I wanted to keep it cohesive. And the good thing about this stack is that the cream is not too pale, so you can mix it with white and they still look really good together. Some creams are too light and they just look really mismatched if you try to put white with them. So we have our photo mat. Let's see. The first cut I have are the wedding bells. These are from the Wedding Solutions cartridge, and I use this purple foil paper from the stack for the ribbon, and then I cut the bells out of the silver metallic paper, and this is cut at 3 3/4 of an inch. Next I have a frame that is cut from the Elegant Edges cartridge. It's the same frame as this one, but I used the oblong feature, and I cut a shadow out of the black glitter paper, and this is cut at 5 inches. And then I cut the coordinating piece at 4 3/4 because I wanted it to have more of a border than if I cut the matching piece. And this paper's just a little bit, it's got some edges on it, so I'm just going to go and trim those off. I'm just going to adhere this down. And I have sort of like a little oops corner. When I was lining this up on my mat to cut it, it overlapped another cut, but that's okay because I'm going to actually put it under my photo mat so you won't even see it. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down. I'm going to line it up right here on the bottom. And then I'm going to adhere my photo mat. Last of my ACG. Now I'm going to adhere my bells. And these are just popped up on one thickness of foam. And I'm going to use some liquid glue. just going to let the bells overlap the photo just a little bit. Next, I have some letters that I'm going to use to create the couple's monogram. I have this W that is cut from the Tie the Knot cartridge, and it was cut at 2 inches. So I cut the monogram out of the black glitter paper, and then I used the metallic silver paper to create the shadow. Then I have their initials, and these were cut from the Kate's ABC cartridge at 1 1/4 inch. And I get questions sometimes about monograms. Traditionally, if you have a couple and you're using both of their names in the monogram, the married name or the last name goes in the middle, and then the bride's name goes on the left, and then the husband's name goes on the right. And then if you're doing an individual monogram, again, the last name goes in the middle, and then the first name goes on the left, and then the middle name goes on the right. Just going to take off that excess glue. And now for the final touch, I'm going to add a little bit of glue right to the center of the bow, and I'm going to add a clear gemstone. So that is the cover page for our complete wedding album. This would be perfect for like the bridal portrait or favorite wedding photo. Or if they prefer, they can always put a picture of them in there from before when they were married, an engagement picture, something like that. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll come back to see the rest of the series. Thanks so much and have a great day.